The Second Temple period was a weird one for Judaism. After some 50 years of being separated from their Holy Land and some inbreeding among the unclean Gentiles along the way,
"You're not my dad! You also hear something! Ugly ass fucking..."
and the faith receiving the money for a shiny new temple in Jerusalem thanks in no small part to Big Daddy Cyrus, there was an awful lot of coincidental dogma changes spurred on around this time. At the forefront of this religious revitalization was the concept of a biblical antagonist.
You're an irredeemable monster! Oh, what took you so long, idiot?
The likes of which we hadn't seen since whomever the hell wrote the Genesis story and decided that salamanders should be slightly more holy versions of snakes, much to the relief of later early Christians. However, Satan more or less won the luck of the draw as the figurehead of the dark forces plaguing the earth, which God does absolutely nothing about. During this time, there were two other prominent figures who came into pseudo-biblical canon who very easily could have become the antithesis to God himself, both of which, curiously enough, also derive a lot of inspiration from the Genesis story. First, we have Adam's first wife, Lilith. We'll get back to her in another video. And then we also saw the emergence of the Angel of Death, Samael, who has one of the coolest names in Jewish mythology, meaning the poison of God. Samael may have been the figure which first inspired the notion of Satan being a fallen angel, alongside that one king of Babylon. As from the word go, he has had a pretty contentious relationship with the Jewish people. First mentioned in the Book of Baruch as a guide to the titular character, he is shown the remnants of the tree, or in this case, vine, of knowledge. "It is this vine which the angel Samael planted, whereat the Lord was angry, and he cursed him and his plant, while also on this account he did not permit Adam to touch it, and therefore the devil being envious deceived him through this vine." Later in the Book of Enoch, he is one of the Watcher class of angels who descends to Earth and decides to have sexy fun times with the human women on the planet, which results in some giant, ugly, unholy children, which even Sandra Bullock couldn't love. Which, of course, leads to the worldwide flood, and understandably, the first readers of this work were not very appreciative of Samael and his shenanigans. Samael is also regarded as the embodiment of death in Jewish culture. As the Gelduat Moshi states when Moses is ascending to heaven, "There was another angel in the seventh heaven, different in appearance from all the others, and of frightful mien. His height was so great, it would have taken 500 years to cover a distance equal to it, and from the crown of his head to the soles of his feet, he was studded with glaring eyes. This one," said Metatron, addressing Moses, "is Samael, who takes away the soul from man." "Whither goes he now?" asked Moses, and Metatron replied, "To fetch the soul of Job the pious." Thereupon Moses prayed to God in these words, "Oh, may it be thy will, my God and the God of my fathers, not to let me fall into the hands of this angel." TLDR, Samael's appearance is so horrifying that Moses, literal Moses, like the number 2 or 3 most important guy across 2/3 of the Abrahamic faith, was like, nah, when he was told by another literal angel, "Be not afraid." However, while most see Samael for his more distasteful actions, he's more of a necessary evil in a lot of other accounts. Being the left hand of God means that he oftentimes gets stuck with the thankless, dirty work most of the other heavenly order wants nothing to do with, such as being an adversary or Hasatan in the trials of man's faithfulness to God. By the way, the left hand is traditionally used for wiping shit out of your ass.
No. Wait. Wash your ass, you got to wash your ass, you got to wash your ass, wash your ass.
For example, it is stated by later denominations that Samael was the one who wrestled Jacob in Genesis, and the one who ordered Abraham to murder his son Isaac. Some take this a step further and say that he was the one who caught the knife as Abraham was about to plunge it into his soft, supple boy flesh. Excuse me. So, according to some, Samael isn't inherently evil, he just gets all the crappy jobs assigned to him by the big man upstairs, and us hapless peons below can't help but see him as a bad guy for it. And yeah, in later traditions, he's just straight up Satan. Actually, he's even more involved than that. The Midrash goes so far as to say that Samael, jealous of the creation of Adam in Genesis, hitches up a ride on his magical-legged serpent thing and tempts poor Eve to eat the fruit of the tree of knowledge. And then he fucks her, resulting in the child Cain, who goes on to club his half-brother to death, and then hilariously tries to hide the body from an omniscient, omnipresent being. After this, Samael is obviously booted out of heaven's favor, but apparently this was all for the best, as he was allowed to get Lilith's sloppy seconds, resulting in legions of demons being born from their ungodly union, including Sariel, who may or may not be the same angel of death Sariel who is tasked by God to look after the souls of the sinners. Whatever the case may be, God had enough of this shit before it became too much of an issue, and then chopped off Samael's balls before he could make any more demonic children to oppose him. And because of this, he can no longer perform in bed, and hence is the reason why Lilith wanders the night looking to seduce young and horny men. Jesus, this guy just can't catch a break. First he gets thrown out for rightfully, pointing out that the angels are way cooler than Adam, then sires a dumbass bone man of a son, only to eventually settle down with his dream girl, only to then get cucked out of starting a family and achieving true happiness. What the fuck did the Jews have against this guy? Did he point out that the dollar has effectively been worthless ever since 1971? Actually, no, he just got saddled with being the patron angel of Rome? Now, boys and girls, remember how I said that Samael was a construction of the Second Temple period? And who ended the Second Temple era by razing it to the ground, arguably diminishing the importance of Judaism and marking the rise of Christianity? A meteoric rise which saw the popularity of anti-Semitism, the burden of money transfers, and the reason why the big 5 religions of the world today are more like the big 4.2.
Ooh, that's kind of small. Yikes.
And you want to know what's truly tragic about all that? Samael was never even added to the Roman syncretic pantheon. The guy whose antlers were used for a ring toss game got a spot on that pantheon. Check that video down below. A few minor notes I'd like to address about Samael before we go today were his associations with the Grim Reaper in pop culture and his name change in Gnosticism. So because he was the Angel of Death, and some medieval merryfuckers thought that the Black Plague was a divine punishment sent from God, the development of the archetypal Grim Reaper, which developed around that time, also retroactively became associated with Samael, which is why you'll sometimes see him toting around a scythe and wearing a long-ass robe, though the imagery of the Grim Reaper developed separately, apparently. And in Gnosticism, when Yaldabaoth declares himself the supreme deity, his own mom calls out from the heavens that he is a false god or a Samael, meaning that in this context, for some reason, the name's meaning was changed to reflect upon the invention of the demiurge both as a concept and as an entity. And you thought the worst thing your mother ever called you was a disappointment. Thank you all so very much for watching today's video. This is number 3 out of the 5 major deities who have an antagonistic presence in the Bible, who I plan to do some sort of video on, / already have done a video on. No points for guessing who the other 2 we haven't covered yet are, especially since they are now both on screen. So if you'd like to hear more about them, or any other gods and goddesses I've done mythological character studies on in the past, be sure to subscribe with a notification bell turned on so that you don't miss a single one of my videos. And until next time, ladies and gentlemen of the internet, I hope you all have a God's blessed day.